Welcome back, Dota 2 fans, for our second best of two of the evening. This is Invasion versus Immortal Magneto Gaming, IMG, with an outside shot at top 6, looking for that spot in the wild card qualifiers. So hopefully for their sake, they can find a series win here. But Invasion gonna look to be the spoilers in this one. I am Marge, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, joined by the wonderful and magnificent Grandis V. We are HeflaTV, your English coverage. Grandis, looking forward to this matchup. Anything you got in the way of predictions?
Definitely, I would really like to say that Invasion are favored, but then again, with the ping disadvantage that they've been running with through the last couple of days, their results have been less than stellar. It should still be a pretty good showing from both sides.
Yeah, definitely their loading time's a little bit indicative of what you spoke of in their ping issues, but either way, we will get into this one pretty quickly. Batrider Ban going to come out from IMG. Response is the Brewmaster being taken out from Invasion. Will be interesting to see how these two teams fare one against one another. Invasion is mathematically eliminated. They've only been able to take one decisive 2-0 win thus far, and unfortunately they have fared pretty poorly, as with most of the SEA teams thus far. Medusa going to be banned out by them. The IO will be taken out by IMG, and we'll look to see what direction they begin to take their draft in.
Definitely. Well, it is going to be indicative of the rest of the game, but for now it is going to be an Ember Spirit first for them, and a pretty solid way to start out this draft, and very comfortable for most of these Eastern teams.
Yeah, certainly so. Ember Spirit going to be the pickup here. We'll see if they're able to get their mid-game stride off the back of that Ember. Very strong hero in that 10 to 15 minute mark, but often considered a counter to the Ember is the Skywrath Mage. He does have that Ancient Seal Instant Silence, which does deny up some of the elusiveness and mobility of that Ember Spirit as well. Ember Spirit can take down Skywrath pretty quickly, but the Axe certainly a way to deal with the Ember. Ember very susceptible early on to physical damage.
Immortal Magneto will snag up the Vengeful Spirit second to combo decently well with that Ember Spirit, giving you a defensive tool to keep the Embers safe if he does find himself caught out of position with that Nether swap, and having some extra minus armor to add a little bit more punch. The Ember is always nice to have at your disposal. More than anything, both teams just getting some really hot picks, at least for this last couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely just strong heroes either way, picked up early on. Speaking of which, Tidehunter going to be banned out by Magneto, and the AA will be the response from Invasion thus far. Both teams looking pretty good in terms of their mid-game. Probably will look to secure a little bit more late-game henceforth with their picks. Also, Roche lineup advantage slightly going the way of IMG right now with that Vengeful Spirit pickup, but the Axe is always nice as well with the Helix, as well as the tankability there. Speaking of tankability, Viper going to be removed out of the pool by IMG.
Yeah, as well as following the Tidehunter as well as the Ancient Apparition inside those banned slots in the second phase, we're still just going to see the pretty standard heroes taken out of the pool. Really nothing super telling from either side, even though it might be considered a little risky to go for the Ember Spirit first, and there's a lot of picks for Invasion to lock him down. Ember Spirit still finds himself fairly elusive. Invasion going to snag themselves up the Troll Warlord.
Surprise, surprise. We see another troll in DAC. It's going to be coupled up with the Axe, and that will help them with a little bit of push, will help them with some early aggression, as well as allowing them to scale a bit better towards that late game. Certainly, Troll not the absolute best 60-minute 6-slotted carry, but certainly is relevant. And the Jug going to be picked up by IMG. Very peculiar to see this one slip through as far as it has.
Definitely, and both teams are really comfortable with what they've gotten. The pushing power from both sides is very potent, with the Juggernaut Healing Ward as well as Vengeful Spirit offering your aura. And then just in and of himself, Troll Lord is very potent at taking down those towers, even though Axe and Skywrath don't contribute much to that respect of the team lineup.
Yeah, definitely. So Juggernaut with a few slight bans in 683B, if you guys were unaware of those. Base armor reduced by 1. He's also had about a 100 unit range nerf on the range of Omni Slash. So still very effective, still does have that very nice high agility, base attack time as well. But either way, gonna look to be potent in the mid game towards the late game as well, and comboed up with this Ember Spirit, they should have a lot of solo pick potential running around as a roaming duo. That Remnant forward into the Sleight of Fist Searing Chain should be able to set up for quite a few nicely placed Omni Slashes. But Invasion going to pick up something a little less popular here in the Bloodseeker. We did see this banned out in the last series, but it will leak through here and going to be able to silence up this Ember Spirit. If he's able to get that off, will be huge.
Definitely. They don't have the greatest ways to set up for that Blood Right, but Nax Call is pretty darn reliable, and we'll have to see if that comes out. The magic, or the damage amplification in general from Invasion is going to be pretty absurd between the Skyroth Mage as well as the Bloodseeker and his Blood Rage. It should be a Jungle Bloodseeker from Invasion. I'm not sure if there's really any other way that they'll think of playing him. If they don't go for the Jungle Bloodseeker, Axe should be taking up that role.
Yeah, definitely the call probably going to be the only thing that allows them to get off a reliable Blood Right. The concussive shot is there, which is fairly nice too, but I'll be interested to see Ancient Seal, Blood Rage, Mystic Flare. If that comes out, will be interesting to see how quickly they're able to blow someone up. But a lot of positioning available to IMG if they don't silence up this Ember Spirit. There's also the swap from the Venge, and the Blade Fury from the Juggernaut should be able to keep him alive from at least the magic damage toolkit more often than not. IMG will pick up the Disruptor though, not too bad at all, into the Axe with the Glimpse and the Static Storm, and Invoker can be picked up here by Invasion. TA actually rounding out the lineup from IMG.
Interesting enough. We'll have to see how all of these lanes shake down, but both sides with a decent greedy lineup, I would say. Right. It looks to be an off-lane Juggernaut with or without supports. Mid-Ember Spirit, safe lane TA. I think those two are more or less interchangeable. It depends on who they want to throw up against the Troll, and neither the TA or the Ember Spirit really have a great time up against that Troll Warlord.
Yeah, I would have expected an aggro try centered around the Jug. Ember Spirit, pretty good 1v1 laner if you put him in the safe lane. Templar Assassin probably is most effective in that middle lane, but perhaps they do run the Jug with that max healing ward build. The effective DPS of even one value point in Blade Dance is pretty damn good now, so even if you're able to just even get 1 point in, he can transition into that semi-carry to carry role later on, even coming out of the off lane.
Definitely. Well, I suppose I'll go ahead and introduce the Radiant side of the map. It is going to be Immortal Magneto, currently very heavily favored when it comes to the actual bets. James going to be playing on the Vengeful Spirit. Sim playing on the Ember Spirit. As far as the other heroes, this is going to get a little bit sketchy. Hopefully I won't mess up any of their names. I am going to have to refer to translations here. So let's see. The Juggernaut, I believe that's going to be played by 11. Marcy should be handling the Templar Assassin, if I'm not mistaken, leaving last but not least Yi Hao Wei on the Disruptor.
And for the Dire side, we will have ADTR playing up on the Bloodseeker. FZFZ going to play on the Troll. We will have OK up on the Skyrath Mage, and placing down a ward was Ghost, but it looks like it may have been scouted out by Yasim. Rounding out the lineup, Kesik Imba on the Invoker. Will be a big movement from IMG through the Radiant Jungle. They're going to block up one camp with a Sentry and establish a little bit of vision on the rune, as did IMG.
Well, for now, we'll have to see how those early skirmishes for the runes are going to favor either side. It looks like Radiant will get the one up towards top and Dire the one down towards bottom. Although if anybody oversteps their bounds, there is a decent amount of killing potential, especially on this Ember Spirit at level 1. If he goes for the bounty rune, they're going to throw an Arcane Bolt, and after spotting out the entire enemy team, it's unlikely that Ember is going to be walking any further.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a defensive tri-lane centered around this Ember Spirit, and as you mentioned, they're going to go with the laning configuration that does relegate the Juggernaut to off-lane responsibilities. He has picked up half of his level 1 with that bounty rune, so nice little start for him, but either way, looks like we may see duels coming out from Invasion.
Yep, and for now, the Bloodseeker has made his way down towards bottom, but with a jungle build. Maybe he jungles in the aggressive side of the map. That's not the easiest thing to punish coming out from Immortal Magneto, but then again, I think just going into his jungle would have been a lot more safe. Then again, since the Sentry Ward has blocked the medium camp and one crucial towards the Bloodseeker jungle rotation, maybe ADTR isn't going to be finding as much farm as I thought.
Yeah, we will see the Disruptor rotate over towards the offlane to help out the Juggernaut here for IMG. He is taking quite a big harass from Keswick as well as OK, so it looks like duels will be the response now from IMG. And over in the mid lane, Marcy doing well on that TA, but FCFC going to be just fine to find his farm as well with that slight ranged advantage. TA having a very gimp early range. He should be able to trick down those refraction charges pretty quickly.
And even through refraction, just having that blind chance coming up from the melee axis can't be underestimated when you're dealing with a TA.
Yeah, definitely so. Will at least be able to find his farm, if not any kill potential. Thunderclap goes out top lane onto OK. Probably not going to be able to tick him down here. Yeah, we'll bring him pretty low, just under 100 HP. But tangoing up, he should be fine to stay in lane for the next little bit. Keswick finding quite a bit on the Invoker. Only 4 for 2 thus far to the 6 and 2, however, of the Juggernaut. So things looking good for that Radiant off lane. Ghost, however, found his level 2.5 in the Dire off lane and is able to stay in lane more often than not.
ADTR, unfortunately, finding Centaurs as his camp isn't going to be able to get all the way up towards level 2s. We have action up towards top. They do get the Thunderstrike onto OK, and the Blade Fury damage is almost enough, and with one more crit, that is going to be 11, drawing our first blood. Now they look towards Ketsugemba. He's trying to finish off this Disruptor, and man fighting under tower. Juggernaut's going to lose that as he tanks one too many tower shots, and now Ketsugemba. Sunstrike going to connect on the Disruptor. That's going to crater and make a 2-kill towards this Invoker, really taking away that sting of the first blood, given the way of IMG.
Yeah, definitely a nice advantage accrued by him there. He'll pick up his level 4 as well. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Ghost is postured up pretty aggressively. He's got OK behind him, though. He's going to go for the call on Yasim. He will catch a magic missile, however. And it looks like that'll back the aggression, but the concussive shot is going to hit on Yasim. Searing Chains will be there to stave off any aggression from Ghost. Arcane Bolt going to be a little bit short. There is no levels in Thirst thus far for ADTR, so they can't have vision. Meanwhile, top lane, they are going to find the Invoker, but the tower will bring down 11 on the Juggernaut. So once again, feeding his life over, but he does find the experience, which the Invoker did not.
Then again, from already sitting on so much experience from the double kill previously, he's not falling behind this lane by any means, and now has completed up phase boots, making aggression so much more difficult for them. He's going to be glimpsed back, but oddly enough, he's actually going to be thrown back towards the tower where his corpse was previously, down towards bottom, looking for this kill onto James. They are going to slow him down with the concussive shot. They just need a little bit more damage, which they can't find immediately. One more Arcane Bolt is going to finish it off, especially with the Blood Rage applied by the Blood Seeker over from the right.
Yep, the Thirst giving him vision there as well, even if he was able to try and walk around the tree line. So they find a nice kill in that bot lane. 4 for 2 is your score, 3.5 minutes in. And in terms of farm, things looking pretty good for the Radiant, but the Invoker started to recover now in his safe lane, and kills certainly going the Dire's way. Invasion off to a pretty good start. Call bot lane, and the Searing Chains will go on onto Ghost, but they won't be enough to take him down. The Flame Guard may, however, just be enough, and OK, not with enough mana to take down that Flame Guard with an Arcane Bolt. In fact, he's going to be a little bit in trouble here himself. Blood Rage pop by ADTR. He's going to look to chase down James. The Sunstrike committed as well. Ketsugemba barely dodged. One more right click from OK will be there, but he'll pay with his own life, taking the Searing Chains to the face. Yasim not quite in Thirst range yet, but the rotation's over from FC. May look to find something. He walks around the corner. The ranged axes will be there, but gonna get fogged by Yasim there, and looks to stave him off. This is also gonna give the Templar Marcy some time in that mid lane.
Going to think better of that dive, even with the double damage rune up against the Ember Spirit. The tower is a little bit too greedy to go for a call. Again on bottom, as the Sim's going to need a couple more spins from the axe, and both teams just going at each other's throats, and I suppose we can't be sad about that.
Yeah, definitely so. The Ember Spirit, as we mentioned in the draft, a little bit susceptible to this physical damage. The Flame Guard does protect him up from OK's toolkit, but ADTR, yeah, aggressively farming the Radiant jungle, and he is going to look to rotate in, from time to time, and perhaps sway the odds into Invasion's favor. Ghost playing pretty aggressively, has picked up his level 5, and that's his 3rd level in Helix there, so he will be hitting pretty hard in this bottom lane. OK has rotated back to the top lane to posture up defensively behind his Invoker, and things are a little bit dicey for the Invoker, but picked up 19 CS now and is well ahead of 11's Juggernaut.
The Disruptor going to be able to snag one of these large creeps over from the pull through, but in the meantime, mid, FCFC going to be taking quite a lot of harass from this Templar Assassin from range. Either way, it's hard to actually know where the next fight is going to break out, as both teams are finding all of these small little skirmishes.
Yep, phase boots picked up by the TA in the mid. She'll start to hit harder and look to pick up this 6-minute rune top. ADTR.
Eyes on James and his sim. They are going to look for ADTR. They get the vision of him with the wave. He is going to be chained down with follow-up magic missile. This could be the end of ADTR's life, indeed will be. So haste rune also picked up by the Ember after the fact, and with the bottle is going to be able to sustain, maybe even look for more.
Yeah, not quite able to bottle up. Was a little bit worried about rotations over. Did have an extra charge, but either way, picks up that haste rune, and Yasim looking pretty good. Level 6.
Towards top, silence. They found the Juggernaut, and with the ultimate from the Troll, it might be enough. The Sunstrike's going to miss. However, the right-click damage is going to be too much for 11, and that's going to be yet another kill for Invasion.
Yeah, things looking very good for them. 6 and 5 overall, but the Ember Spirit for Yosim is gaining quite a bit of momentum in the bottom lane. They will look to remedy those issues perhaps fairly soon, as it looks like there may be rotation down from the Skywrath, but he's going to have to walk over quite a ways. Ghost has now found that level 6, so he will have the Decapitate available to him, and the Ember Spirit not so tanky early on, but it looks like he will opt for the drums build with that Bracer on the way.
Well, for now, it's hard to tell where the action is going to be next. ADTR inside the jungle has been able to find a decent amount, but it hasn't been without rotations either. He's been pretty nomadic when it comes to whose jungle he's actually farming up in.
Yeah, Keswick Imba forced to farm up this hard camp once again. It is double stack, but rotations have come in from 11, and he's going to look to find something. Unfortunately, doesn't have that Omni Slash at the ready. Could have certainly been a kill onto the Invoker, who has gone for Quas Exort, so no Ghost Walk available to him. Meanwhile, in the jungle, James has been battle hungered up by Ghost. He's looking to chase him down with that move speed advantage. No boots onto James, but the call is only on one. They will have the battle trance pop, but the 3 Spirit nuke is there. Sunstrike is a little bit short, but it will bring Yasim low, and the trigger too quick for Ghost, though. He's going to fall there to the Sleight of Fist. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, FC dueling up against Marcy. He's going to fall here to the TA. Oh, actually bottling up, and there's the mischance as well as a bash. One more ranged attack, and the Troll finds a very nice turnaround on the TA. That's a huge solo kill for him. Rotations are inbound, though, from the Disruptor as well as James, and he will Thunderclap him up. Will have the glimpse as well. Thunderclap does give vision, and the Magic Missile going to finish off the Troll Warlord there. So a nice return kill going the way of the support duo of IMG.
Even when the Troll's on such low HP, man fighting him is always a risk. Potential action up towards top brewing as we have the Skywrath Mage looking for the silence on Jug, but 11 going to make himself scarce. Large wraparound coming out from ADTR with the double damage rune, looking towards mid, trying to pick off this Venge. They don't have vision of the Venge, but he knows something's wrong. Let's see. Sunstrike, not going to do enough damage, but then again, the Blood Ride going to be juked out by James. The Bloodseeker can't commit for that kill any further. Diving a tier 2 tower at this point is probably a little too greedy. ADTR now spotted out. They're going to wrap around with the Templar Assassin. The best he can hope for at this point is a neutral deny. Will it happen? No, it won't. Juggernaut going to be able to get that last hit.
Yeah, definitely some economic play as well from 11, not using the Omni Slash, knowing that the Psionic Trap would be there from mid lane. Remnant out bottom from Yasim. Ghost won't be able to catch him. He's got one bottle charge as well. Battle Trance will be popped, but it's just to farm up some neutrals for FZFC, and everything gonna stagnate for the moment. 8 to 7, 9 minutes in.
Yeah, and stagnate, it's a little bit relative a term used here, as we've had just so much action across the map, and both teams, the smallest of openings is going to be abused by them. Still have yet to see that first use of Omni Slash coming out from 11, and hopefully it'll be pretty soon. If he's able to isolate a single hero, that's when we can actually see that spell put to good use. Templar Assassin putting some pressure in mid, as everybody else is content to farm, at least for now.
Yep, rotations to the bot lane from OK. Keswick 1v1ing the Juggernaut in the top lane, has picked up those Forged Spirits, so will be nice to divvy up the damage from Omni Slash. Sleight of Fist Searing Chains goes out onto Ghost. He'll catch a Magic Missile as well. He's going to be able to stick up, however, the Ancient Seal is there, and he will get swapped back. Static Storm popped as well from the Disruptor. Yasim getting very low, but they will drop both the Axe as well as the Skywrath. He'll be able to Remnant out as well. ADTR may be next to fall, and he will to the right clicks as well, so that's 3 for nil. going the way of IMG in the bot lane, and that's something they desperately needed, especially being that their Ember Spirit does survive there. Blade Fury out top lane onto Keswick. Looks like only a level 1 Blade Fury, and it is. Ice Wall will be there for the time being, but the TA should be able to finish off Keswick with one more right click. Will be able to do so with the refraction charges up. Searing Chains out into the mid lane onto FZ, but he's a little bit too tanky. However, the support rotation is in from James. Magic Missile is there. Kinetic Field as well. He'll be able to stick up. He'll pop the Battle Trance and look to man up against the Yasim, and he won't be able to bring him down. Haste Rune popped as well by the Ember. He's going to drop a Spirit into mid lane, go back into the base, and he will be able to return to the fray here. Dunk is there from Ghost onto James. However, that will make it a 1-for-1, but the Omni Slash is there onto Ghost. He'll taunt up. He won't be tanky enough to survive. Remnant back in from Yasim as well, and it looks like they'll be able to transition this into a push. Drums popped mid lane looking for OK. They're not going to find him, but they will zone him back, and it should be a tier 1 forfeit from Invasion.
Not much else that they can do after 1-for-3. They'll spot out OK with another Sleight of Fist, and now the Blood White down onto the ground. Doesn't look like it's actually going to silence anybody just a little too long in coming out. They will slow down OK with one trap from the Templar Assassin. Now they bring in the Troll with the ultimate, looking for a bash on Yasim. The Sunstrike is not going to connect, but with the Rupture onto him, he's going to Remnant up towards the high ground. Yasim doesn't have a TP out here and is going to drop another Remnant as the fight goes on down towards the low ground. ATTR drop down by the Templar Assassin. Marcy going to look to make it a double as well onto OK. The Vengeful Spirit going to get the last hit there. Now they look towards FZ. Slow him down with another Psionic Trap and chase him forward, glimpse him back, and now inside the kinetic field. Nowhere for that Troll to run, and Ghost is currently standing alone as the Invoker is up towards top. Static Storm to mid. No other further way to lock him down inside this, and with the tower aggro going the way of the Ember, it's not going to be easy if it dies, but scratch that. Templar Assassin going to be able to get the triple kill as Invasion all but get wiped.
Just a beautiful synergy of abilities from them thus far. If they chase after that glimpse to chase down FZ there, Ghost gets off a nice call, but they glimpse him back. Everyone converges to the south, and Ghost left alone. Nice pop of the Static Storm. Better swap back in from James, and overall they take a huge engagement mid. Bloodright will go out here, is going to land on the TA, but the refraction gonna absorb any damage instances that would have been popped there, and they will take this tier 2 despite some mass TPs in. There's the Rupture Ancient Seal out onto the Disruptor, but the Psionic Trap will be there for the moment. Mystic Flare, Sunstrike, however, will be able to take him down. Sentry Ward popped as well, but the drum charges are popped by Marcy. The Concussive Shot is going to hit, but only a few ranged attacks going to be taken there by the TA, and she will be able to remove herself from the risky situation. Looking for an Omni Slash from the backlines is 11, and he may find Ghost, but the creep wave is rotating in. He will drop to the high ground, and easy kill going the way of 11 there with the Magic Missile pop. 19-9 is your score. TA in a bit of trouble, will be Ancient Sealed up. Cold Snap is there as well, rotating up to the high ground, however, and Invasion a little bit tentative to follow into the shadows, and 19-9 is your score. Looks like they will back off for the moment. Definitely can't take Roshan with the presence of most of IMG's lineup here.
11, especially with that double damage. Those crits really sting, and a long glimpse back onto ATTR. It's going to be end of Bloodseeker's life. The silence is going to go through onto the TA, but the damage absorbed by refraction is Invasion. Just can't afford to actually stick around any longer, as IMG should be able to take this tier 1 without much of a scuffle.
Yeah, definitely so. The glyph not available as well for Invasion, and things starting to ball out of control for them in this 10 to 15 minute mark, where a lot of IMG's lineup gets pretty potent. The TA, especially off that mid lane, doing very well. There is a wrap here onto the Invoker, but no vision for the glimpse back quite yet for the Disruptor, and it is now though. Kinetic Field is there as well. Ice Wall not going to do much. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains, Magic Missile, and Kesikimba going to go down. He was farming very well earlier on and is still the highest farmer onto Invasion, but now that's been stifled quite a bit.
A really awkward move last by the Invoker as he goes into the creep wave to get vision of the Disruptor. I think he probably should have just booked it, maybe forgetting Disruptor was close by. But with that maxed out glimpse, the range is deceptively long. Now Roshan going to be attempted by IMG, and with the healing ward up for 11 as well as the minus armor from the Venge, they'll be able to take it very fast, and that's your double life for Marcy.
Yeah, the blink picked up by Marcy as well, so we'll be a lot more able to position and get off some meld strikes in these engagements thus far. What do you feel like the build is going to be from Yasim? Well, he has picked up a Ring of Health, so presumably is going to be that first item Battle Fury.
Yeah, and I think that's completely fine. In the meantime, Juggernaut isolates the Skyrath Mage, and they'll be able to bring him down very quickly, and really not much else that you can do. If you're the Sky at this point and you're caught out with a 0 base armor, no Tranquil Blitz complete up on the Sky, you'll be torn to shreds. Templar Assassin finds a Bloodseeker as well over in the sidelines, and things are just coming off the wheels for Invasion.
Yeah, Yasim gonna TP back, push out the off lane as well. He's left a remnant in the mid lane, can return to the fray quickly hereafter, and the Psionic Trap doing some scouting for Marcy here. He's gonna look to find Ghost, probably not the easiest target to solo up, but does have some support in tow. Glimpse could be there, the trap is there as well. There's the kinetic field, Static Storm, and Ghost gonna drop very quickly to that blink forward meld strike from Marcy. Barely even takes any damage from the tower for that one, and this tier 1 should be easy pickings for IMG if they choose to take it down.
Up until about 10 minutes into this game, things were looking so even, and then just one fight goes sour, and Invasion have lost pretty much every single fight since. Even if they get a kill, it's pretty much inconsequential. These cores, in particular the Ember Spirit, have just had such a good time. 409, even though Sim hasn't been able to find himself that many last hits on these kills, he has managed to not die, even though Invasion have been going at his throat many a time.
Yeah, EDTR are going to be found out in the mid. Meld strike, one more strike with the refraction up, and Marcy just melting targets right now. 1600 gold on top of her Blink Dagger Phase Boots Drums build, and she's going to pick up a Mithril Hammer, perhaps on the way to an early Deso, and she's going to start to chunk down these heroes very quickly with that Meld strike and the minus armor from the Deso as well. Certainly very worrisome for Invasion.
Right now, okay, as well as Kesikimba down towards the bottom lane. Lucky enough for them, the Juggernaut decides against going for a full wraparound, but things could have gone south very fast. And, well, we might be looking towards kill up towards top. All 3 lanes are poised to strike. They jump down towards bottom with a sleight of fist. Cold Snap returning to the Sim. He's going to bring in some TP support to keep himself safe, and drops a remnant aggressively going into this. They're going to catch out Kesikimba. TP is going to be stymied by the chains, and Kesikimba is going to fall. Now they look towards OK with Magic Missile. He turns for the ultimate, but that hardly does any damage to James. And it's going to be a clean double kill for IMG and for the Disruptor in particular.
Yeah, top lane, the Juggernaut is looking to find out FCFC. He's got the Omni Slash ready. This should be a fairly easy kill. Mischance is there, however, and they will have to blink in Marcy to finish him off. Kill secured by the TA. 6-1 and 6 on that Templar Assassin. 7-3 and 3 on the Juggernaut. And taking a look at the metrics, we are 18 minutes in. There's a 14k net worth lead and a 12k experience lead going the way of IMG.
It really doesn't get much worse for Invasion. This Bloodseeker, even though he's farming decently well to start off the game, has gone 0-7 and 2 after the fact. Axe, Blink Dagger is seemingly a distant dream for him, even though he's 2/3 of the way there. He's been 2/3 of the way there for the last 5 minutes, and pretty much everybody else just drops in a heartbeat. Oh my goodness. Okay, you're screwed. That's going to be a Meld Strike, second attack. Oh, I thought he'd get 2-shotted, but 3-shotted is more than enough, as the Templar Assassin finds himself a wicked 6 spree, and now he's going to find himself a free Kesikimba over if they have detection, which they do not. So Kesikimba is going to be able to coast walk out of that. Lucky enough for him, they'll get 1 spill attack, but that's far from enough.
Yeah, opting for that 1 point in Wex, certainly worth it for at least that engagement. Meanwhile, Ghost's going to be brought down in the bottom lane. Sleight of Fist Searing Chains combo with the Magic Missile, and easy kill onto Ghost, and as you mentioned, still going to have more delays towards that Blink Dagger. Sleight of Fist Searing Chains does land on 2 heroes. Bottom lane, Sonic Trap is there, but the Templar going to miss on the Invoker, however, will bring down FCFC. Glimpse back onto the Invoker as well. Buyback is available for all 3 of these heroes. Yasim finding the triple kill on the Ember Spirit, and things looking very, very dicey for this lane of Rax in the bot lane. Invasion not quite willing to buy back just yet. Meanwhile, Sleight of Fist Searing Chains onto OK. They'll bring him down as well. Blink forward from Marcy. Ultra kill going the way of this Ember, and you mentioned not able to find too many last hits. Well, 8-0 and 11 now, and should be able to finish up that Battle Fury fairly soon. In fact, it's flying over on the Courier.
At this point, it's pretty much all over for Invasion. It's anything but formalities. Templar Assassin casually walks into the well to find herself a Desolator, and you know the game is sad at that point.
Swap back from James to buy up his Force Staff as well. And things looking very poor for Invasion. They're pretty much out of the tournament as well. in terms of their ability to fight on wildcard. Keswick going to get chopped down. He will be able to ghost walk and disjoint that hit, but the thunderclap should be there to tick him down, and is. And the Omni Slash finishing off okay as well. Rupture goes out onto 11, but the Troll Warlord going to get blown to bits and absolutely eviscerated by Marcy here. And with that, Deso going to blink into the fountain. We're fountain farming. This is a pro game, guys, and Marcy will end up going down, but GG is called. IMG taking a sub 20-minute game 1.
Absolutely ridiculous performance coming up from them. It really does feel like Invasion have kind of given up hope. After losing one fight, it was pretty much just like, we can't do anything, and really, they couldn't.
Yeah, definitely so. So we'll be back in game 2 very shortly, guys. IMG versus Invasion for you. DAC Asia qualifiers. It is a best of 2.